Please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Let's just take a look at how the pre-opening rates are panning out. For now, Wipro stock is down about 2%, Hpcl is down 2%, ICICI is down about 1.5%, Vedanta is down about 1.5%. Reliance is up 4%. That of course should not happen. So let's see how that one pans out. Cipla as well up about 2.5%, Lupin up 1.8%. Rupee has opened at 69.01, so the 69 mark is holding, and that of course is going to be an interesting trade. Let's wait for these rates to settle. And before we invite Mr. Tulsian, Ashwani, I just wanted your thoughts on how to approach these stocks in the broader market, which will come out with numbers. Havells, Bata and CEAT.
See, CEAT has gone through almost a bear market. So if numbers are half decent, you could have a bit of a rally. Bata, Havells, again, these are stocks which have rallied. So maybe you will see some sell-off on rally, more so on Bata than on Havells. But if I have to buy a result reaction, maybe I would look at CEAT and see if those numbers can trigger off some sort of a pullback rally.
Okay, well, let's keep an eye out on all these stocks. A lot of non-index large caps coming out with numbers today. But in the pre-opening rates, a couple of stocks do stand out, though. Hindalco is up about 2.5%. That acquisition could take place today, the decision to buy Aleris. So keep an eye out on that. Ashok Leyland is making an attempt to come back, although it's a very feeble attempt at the moment. Let's see how that plays out. And L&T Finance, Bata, ahead of their numbers, are looking pretty good. Mr. S.P. Tulsian is also with us to discuss some of these earnings. Mr. Tulsian, good morning. I missed out on your view on Mindtree yesterday. I don't know if you spoke about that. But the numbers were good this time around, and this is a stock that you've been bullish on. You think it's mere profit-taking that we've seen in this stock, and would it be a good time for long-term investors to pile on?
See, Sonia, in fact, day before I expressed my view that one should remain away from ahead of the numbers. And I agree that the numbers are not seen to be bad. I won't call them accepting numbers, but they are definitely not bad. But having corrected by about 10-11% yesterday, I think this is giving a buying opportunity, because what we have been seeing the trend in the market recently, that the recently run-up stocks are taking a pause and in fact are seeing profit booking, maybe on the pretext of the flat kind of results, or maybe on the expected line. The case in points are Mindtree, Hindustan Unilever, or maybe Bajaj Finance. In fact, we have seen that yesterday, Kotak Bank. Maybe there may be elements of some kind of negativity in each of the results, but in spite of market having realized that they are all ruling at a higher end, and that is what has seen having happened in Mindtree also, that the profit booking has come in spite of the flattish kind of things, flattish kind of Q1 numbers. So if you have been waiting to buy the Mindtree, which has a future growth potential to be seen quite better, then this makes this gives a good entry point.
Mr. Tulsian, good morning. What about Hindalco? The stock corrected sharply yesterday, down 7% on news that it's very close to making that acquisition of Aleris. Some people are a bit concerned because the net debt to EBITDA would rise significantly after this $2.5 billion deal. Your thoughts?
See, Rima, actually, company has denied that they are acquiring this Aleris. But in fact, yesterday I gave my view that if they go ahead, and in fact, what is happening, that Aleris acquisition, if they go ahead and do it at $2.5 billion, it will be seen complementing to Novelis, because it is 1/4 of the Novelis. And if you see the present revenue mix of the company, they have about 21-22% EBITDA margin in their core business of aluminum, while Novelis has an EBITDA margin of 11-12%. And if you take the call on the company, they have 55,000 crore net worth, 55,000 crore debt, while the net worth is not even giving, reflected into the market price also. The market cap is closer to about 45,000 crore. So how you will fund the $2.5 billion acquisition? Purely by debt? Then your debt will balloon to 70,000 crore, which will not get live. There is no scope for equity dilution. At the current level, I don't think that management will be too happy to dilute the equity, which will again be seen quite negative by the market. So taking overall, if they go ahead with I agree that, the Aleris have made the investments of about $800 to $900 million in this last 2-3 months, which will start yielding the results, their ABS projects, and, which will be complemented implementing the Novelis operations also. And the idea of the company is to make the integrated play, make the total virgin material of 2.5 million ton and have the usage, the consumption also. Novelis has a consumption of about 2 million ton of metal, and this LRS will be having a consumption of about 8 lakh ton metal per annum. But I don't think that this will be seen quite positive if they go ahead. But I think that since management has denied that they are not going ahead with this acquisition, probably maybe some kind of breather will be seen, and that may be just seen having a positive view on a positive behavior on the share price for today. But I won't rule out as the closed chapter, because if there is some kind of smoke, there has to be some caution has to be kept on this acquisition by Hindalco going forward.
Sure, point taken. Mr. Tulsian, good morning. What's up with Adani Enterprises? It's up 15% this week. It's an F&O ban. The sense I'm getting is that a lot of shorts have been trapped here. In the past, you've been positive on a couple of Adani Group stocks. But what do you think has led to this 15% move?
See, Anu, it's difficult to say. Yes, we have been keeping the positive view on Adani Port, Adani Transmission and Adani Enterprise in the same pecking order. But if you see this Adani Enterprise, in fact, post that restructuring of the green power stock, the stock has really become very high beta stock. And I don't think that this kind of price behavior is good for any stock, going off and on in the F&O ban kind of things. And you are right that it has risen by 15% in this maybe last 1 week or so, which has happened more because of this technical factor. So taking this into consideration, I think it is better to remain away, because definitely the share is seen, trading at a higher end of the trading range as well.
Okay, for now the Sensex and the Nifty have adjusted absolutely flat. So looks like it's going to be another range-bound start at least. Let's see how things go from here. Alembic Pharma is reacting on the upside. It's got that establishment inspection report. So that's positive for Alembic Pharma, up about 1.5% right now. And a couple of other stocks in the broader markets. Jain Irrigation on that order win is up about 1.5% as well. So do keep an eye out on that. Mr. Tulsian, I wanted your thoughts on ABB, because the numbers look pretty good. 14% top line growth, expansion in margins. But this stock has done nothing for investors this year. I mean, it's fallen about 20-odd%. You think it's a good time to be accumulating?
See, in fact, look into the numbers. In fact, I'm quite convinced, and I think that company should be able to post an EPS of 23, 24 rupees. And in fact, I would say that maybe one has to wait for the results of the Siemens also to be seen. But ABB Siemens have always carried the higher amount of the higher P multiple, and both are seen ruling at a reasonable level. And if you see the robotic division having performed quite well by the company in this Q2, they have the calendar year ending. So the Q2 numbers of the robotic segment have been quite good. Yes, the power grid segment has seemed to be little flattish kind of thing, which is the bread and butter for the business. But I am convinced, because again, a good pedigree of 75% promoter stake, and the kind of order flow. They have got an order also of the equivalent value of about 2,700 crore in this Q2. So I'm in fact convinced I'm in fact satisfied with the number and convinced as a buy on ABB at the current level.
Okay, convinced on buying ABB at current levels. The pre-open rates have settled 6 points lower on the Nifty at 10,963. 25 points lower is what you have on Bank Nifty because of HDFC Bank, and the mid caps are starting on the lower side. So if you take a look at the mid-cap index, that's down about 33 points at this point in time. The currency opening, as we discussed, has been around 69, and that's holding there. So that also is going to be a bit of a cue for the market. Oil marketing companies are slightly soft. Hpcl down about close to 2%. In pre-open, the rate that looks interesting is Ramco Cements. It's settled 9% higher. I don't know if that's how it will play out though, because the volumes are very low on that. But Ramco Cements is looking quite interesting. So just keep an eye on that stock. Ashwani, what's the view on the pre-opening, and what's your 9-10 call?
See, if we open right here, I don't think you should be doing something. I would look for a 20-point decline on Nifty, maybe say a 80 to 100-point decline on Bank Nifty before you take positions. But it's basically buy at the lower end and try to see what you get on the upside. 3 down days, if we don't break the lower end of the range today, there could be significant short covering which takes us probably even beyond 11,000. So today is a day to buy, but just wait for a 15-20 point downside.
And your 9-10 call?
See, Yes Bank has moved strongly, but that it's crossed its previous high. Now it seems that there is life beyond 400. So that is a buy with a stop of 387, target of 405. Even if it dips, it should be bought.
Okay, let's just do a quick check on the Asian markets under pressure. So the Japanese markets are down close to about 0.7%. Hang Seng is lower by nearly 0.5%. This is as the yuan is weakened further to 6.8 against the dollar. And plus, we have the US president in a way exerting pressure on the monetary policy over there. So in an exclusive conversation with CNBC, US President Donald Trump spoke about the Fed raising interest rates and how he is not happy with the central bank. He also went on to say that a stronger dollar has put the US at a disadvantage. Listen in.
I put a very good man in the Fed. I don't necessarily agree with it because he's raising interest rates. I'm not saying that I agree with it, and I don't necessarily agree with it. I must tell you, I don't. Yeah. I'm not thrilled because, you know, we go up, and every time you go up, they want to raise rates again. And I don't really, I am not happy about it. But at the same time, I'm letting them do what they feel is best. But I don't like all of this work that goes into doing what we're doing. You look at the euro, you look at what's going on with the EU, and they're not doing what we're doing, and we already have somewhat of a disadvantage, although I'm turning that into an advantage. You know, last year and for years, we've been losing $150 billion with the EU nations, with the European Union. And they're making money easy, and their currency is falling. And China, their currency is dropping like a rock, and our currency is going up. And I have to tell you, it puts us at a disadvantage. Now, I'm just saying the same thing that I would have said as a private citizen. So somebody would say, oh, maybe you shouldn't say that as a president. I couldn't care less what they say, because my views haven't changed. I don't like all of this work that we're putting into the economy, and then I see rates going up. I see China where I mean, look at what's happening with their currency. It's dropping like a rock.
Okay, being as blunt as he always is, but this is really important because Trump's Fed criticism comes with nearly no precedent in US history. All government officials have always been on the fence. I think Richard Nixon was the only one earlier who had some opinion and had tried to influence the Fed. So let's see how this plays out. Interesting times for global markets. But let's take a quick roundup of what's happening in the commodity space. Then Manisha Gupta is joining us to give us a check on that. Hi Manisha, good morning.
Morning Sonia. And you know, global commodities for some time haven't been following their fundamentals, and it really has been about what the US president has been saying, and him criticizing the Fed stance as something that has weakened the US dollar today in Asia, and we have seen some buying come back in case of dollar-denominated commodities. So the crude oil prices are, you know, trading in the green right now. Apart from the weakness in US dollar, it also has to do with the fact that the Saudi Arabia says that they are going to cut 1 lakh barrels per day of exports starting from August. They are not going to oversupply, and that is ease the concerns of the market that there could be some more supplies coming in, and that is supportive of the crude oil prices. Another thing to watch out really is the OPEC and the allies compliance. The OPEC compliance has been coming down from 180% in April, 147% in May to 120% in the month of June. So that tells you that there is an increase in OPEC production overall, and that is a figure that the markets would want to keep an eye on. In the metal space, it still continues to be very volatile. We have the gold prices trading at a 12-month lows, and that is pretty much the case with the industrial commodities as well. With the kind of concerns that we are seeing between US and China, and the expectation that that could hit demand in some sense, and the increasing supplies on the other side is pulling many of these metals down. So you have copper prices trading at a 12-month lows. Zinc and lead also is trading at around 13-month lows as of now. So Shanghai in total has opened slightly negative when it comes to all of these metals.
Okay, Manisha, thanks a lot for that. Prakash, before we thank you, just wanted your thoughts on Hpcl. That's had a decent rally, down 2% in pre-open.
I think it's up. Maybe down, but looks like it's still up. I would say has a very strong support in the vicinity of 270-75 zones. If someone is to buy, I think Hpcl still looks good to me. Can have a buy. Target could be around about 290-95 zones. Stop below 280. I think it still looks good to me. It's buying opportunity in the downside.
Okay, we just have 30 seconds to go, so let's thank Mr. Tulsian for joining us as well. Let's get a quick comment from you, Mitesh. Anything that you've spotted in pre-opening that could be traded?
Yeah, in fact, I would look at possibly going short on a Bank of Baroda. I think the PSU banks have had a good pullback over the last few days and today might begin on a negative note. So that will be the first short. But as I said, I think the aggressive trading will come in either if we break 10,940 or we head towards the upper end of the range. So that is where I would possibly be more biased towards taking short.
Seconds left for markets to open. So